One of the things you suggested is the notion of the Department of Education monitoring institutions of higher learning for extreme political bias. How would that work, and where would the monitoring take place? And what would people be looking for?
Well, basically, when complaints are heard, from students or from other faculty members, you would go in and investigate. You can do that rather surreptitiously, and you find out whether there's any validity to it.
To political bias, say in the classroom,
yeah,
the library?
Right. For instance, just as an example, you probably know this example already, but at one of the colleges in Florida, one of the professors told the students as an assignment to all take out a piece of paper and write the name Jesus on it, and then to put it on the ground and stomp on it. And one of the students refused to do that, and he wound up being disciplined. There turned out to be enough ruckus about it, and eventually, they rectified it. But that's what I call extreme political bias.
Well, the reason I ask is, there are some people who suggest that having a federal agency investigate college campuses for political bias, it leans a little bit toward thought police.
I don't think so. I think when we're talking about federal taxpayer dollars going to an institution that is educating our children, I don't care whether the extreme political bias is coming from the right or the left, it shouldn't be there. Institutions of higher education are supposed to be just for that, higher education. That means you have to be able to look at everything. You need to be able to discuss these things, because these are people who are going to be leaders in our society. They cannot be sheltered. When you get out in the real world, there's no safe zone. Let me go over here so nobody will say something that will offend me. That's craziness. That's not what we want to be teaching our students. We want to teach our students to be able to look at, listen to, and evaluate and discuss everything. And when that's not happening, we are doing ourselves a disservice, we are weakening ourselves, and we are setting ourselves up for failure.
But do you trust a federal agency to do that role, given your concerns about overregulation and other power by the federal government?
Again, guidelines would have to be in place. I take it a step further. I believe in the secret shopper concept, for all government agencies. I believe that there should be people out there who are acting as consumers and seeing if we are taking care of them appropriately. And you don't have to have very many people. You just need to have people know that they could be out there.
Are you talking about, for example, federal employees maybe infiltrating classrooms or libraries?
And not just classrooms and libraries, but anything that the taxpayers are paying for, we ought to be monitoring it and making sure that it is done appropriately. There should not be
political bias is what we're still talking about.
No, in regard to inefficiency, in regard to unresponsiveness. When you have a problem and you go to the Federal Housing Administration and you talk to people, and it takes you 4 hours to talk to somebody, and then they blow you off and you don't get anything done. I want to know about those kinds of things, and I want to know what can be done to fix those kind of things. American people should not be subject to that.
It sounds like you're suggesting a radical transformation in the way people view federal government, that you want the people to trust them.
I want them to trust the federal government. I want the federal government to work.
And how are you going to, what's the first thing you're going to do to do that?
Well, first of all, if I'm president, I will talk to everybody. I will tell them what the vision is for how we should be working. And I will tell everybody that we welcome them, we welcome their suggestions in terms of how we make sure that we have a government that is responsible, but also we'll let them know that we are going to be holding people responsible for what's done, just like we do in the private sector. We will do the same thing in the government. The people deserve no less than that.